So, hello, ladies and gents. Hopefully, everybody's having a good day, night, morning, evening, whatever it is, wherever you're at. I just wanted to take, and this would be build up there. This would be the HOF build update part 4. Started doing the wiring on the rig, and also did the riser cable. Got that in the mail. Got that all taken care of now. Now I can actually show you all that. So why don't we just take and just dive right down into it. So overall, well, I'll turn the light on so you guys can actually see what's going on. Got the riser cable in, everything's all good on that end. Got the back here buttoned up, got that closed up now, so that looks even better. I see got the motherboard all. The motherboard's fully wired. Here's the kicker that probably gonna be unbelievable is the GPU is all wired up as well. It falls back to having the screen on here, which yes, even the screen is all wired up as well, and the screen is connected to the motherboard already. It falls back to what I was saying with having the screen here. The dual 12-pin connectors is completely hidden behind the screen, which I'll take and I'll show you all that right now. Which they see all the wiring right there. It's about as tight as you're possibly gonna get it. It's not gonna get any better than that. And that's how I got the wiring. I sucked up every little angle that I could possibly get sucked up, but that's pretty much that there. Yeah, this video is primarily going to be showing the wiring, but I said I got the riser cable there. If I take it back up, as you can see, that GPU is not going to get any more perfectly lined up than it is right there. So yeah, that's pretty much that with the update. I'm actually currently waiting for the fittings to come in the mail, so that way there I can start doing the water loops. Got all the 90s I need. I'm pretty sure I got all the 90s I need. Just waiting on some more of these regular fittings here to come in the mail. That and being that the customer wants RGB done, I'm also waiting on an RGB hub with some extension cable so I can get ready to start doing that. No, the front rad still ain't done yet because, well, that has to do with the water cooling, and if I start doing the water cooling, running the lines and all that, I'm gonna want to do the radiators and all that. And for me to actually, it doesn't matter what the build is, rather it's mine or a customer build. For me to actually jump to it, it's got to be something that I'm gonna spend some time on, like the wiring wise, to get everything all wired. I had the riser cable, etc., to take and be willing to jump into that. Now, the only thing I can really say on this, like, typically what I'll do is a little trick that I have is I won't even typically I won't even use these holes. Well, these cables are gonna be cleaned up even more, but typically I won't even use these holes. What I usually take and do is I'll usually take the cables, like I've done it on my builds before. I'll usually take the cables and sandwich them between the motherboard and the computer case that I'm using at the time. I'll usually do that, but however, with how tight everything is with this build, I don't have the wiggle room between the motherboard and the case, so unfortunately I can't do that this time around. But yeah, so I mean, that is pretty much what it is. But yeah, you guys already know the fans, you guys know the distro plates, all that fun stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much where all that sits right now. Yeah, this is gonna be a fairly short video for the simple fact of just showing you the wiring, and there's really not much to see wiring wise because everything's hidden. The only things that's showing is what has to be shown. But I will take and throw the light on and back up a little bit. There, I'll take it back up a little bit so you guys can actually take and see that GPU is perfectly lined up. It gets no better than that. And yes, that GPU is solid as a rock. Which, if I go back to it again, there's that wire for the top for the distro plate, going by distro plate, or going by the GPU. If I hold the GPU on end here and shake it, you'll see I am shaking that wire, which that is solid. And as I said, when I installed the GPU riser cable, it pulled the GPU right, it raised the GPU up as it should have. Hence, that's how I designed the GPU bracket. Is I designed it to, it's got very little give to it as it has to, but it has enough strength there to where it pushes the GPU up. Plus also in the back here, this little back plate here, when I actually took and installed that on the back to cover up this hole, there's actually a screw going through that into the back of this mount here, which also acts as another reinforcement. It actually pulls the GPU, the entire bracket, into the back of the case. Which I'll actually take and I'll show you that really quick. There's that screw right there that I was just talking about. That screw takes and pulls that bracket into the back of the case, and yes, there's a little notch here, there's a little nut bolt here. I'm actually going to grind that down so this actually goes flush, because I actually took and how that was, which is sitting right there, the nut and bolt was actually making it harder to get the GPU mounted, so I actually flipped that around, which put that nut and bolt in the back here now, which actually kind of protrudes out there now, which I'm not worried about that, because I'll just grind that little stub down, which will make that even, so that'll all be flush. This is not intended to be used at all. This is primarily just to cover up that hole, that gap that was here. That's pretty much just that, because again, how this case is designed, when you use additional plates, you're not supposed to be able to do a vertical GPU mount. So my primary focus with this entire build, when I was doing this build, my primary focus was the GPU area. Everything else just falls into place. So I would have to say about 95% of my time and work has been in this general area right here, because every step of the way has been straightforward, custom, one-off. Again, I've said it before, I'll say it again, you're not going to find another V3000 Plus like this. There's not another one out there. But yeah, outside of doing the water loops now, wiring the RGB, this rig is pretty much done. Yeah, so I said just waiting on some more fittings to come in the mail, and an RGB hub, which is an adjustable RGB, and some RGB extensions, and I can start running the lines for the RGB. I can start plumbing the rig up, and then get her bled, fire her up, test her out, make sure she's all happy and up in working order, and then do a final build video on that, and then ship her back to the customer. But before I do that, I got the one surprise I gotta do for the customer that I had already told the customer that I'm gonna do. It's the one surprise that's really gonna take this rig and throw it in your face like blah. But yeah, this screen is wired, so when this motherboard fires up, this screen will turn on, which I don't believe I showed that, so I will show it really quick before I end this video. As you can see, the white line that goes into the motherboard right back there, I don't know if it's really going to grab it too much, because it's so tight back here. The white cable that goes in there, which then comes in here. So yeah, now taking on back up a little bit now for you, so you guys can actually see it. But there she is in all her glory. And that's pretty much just the update for that. A little bit past 8 minutes now. There's really nothing else for me to really show. Like I said, I don't want to go doing that front rad yet, because if I start doing the water cooling, I want to do it all. So I'm just waiting for the fittings to come in the mail. And then, yeah, that's pretty much that. Oh, the other thing I did too before I end this video, I had to get extensions for the GPU, because how it was sitting without these extensions, when I had the 90s in there, the 90s weren't clearing the back plate, so I had to get extensions to bring it out more so I could clear the back plate. So yeah, that's pretty much gonna be that. And I do know that the customer wants to use quick disconnects on the GPU, specifically for the reason for when the 5090 comes out. He wants to switch the 5090 around, so I'm going to make sure to have that all taken care of for him. So yeah, what I'm actually planning on doing is I'm going to take and have the quick disconnects. I doubt I'm going to have them behind here, for the simple fact of just how tight it is. The quick disconnects are more likely going to take in when the water lines run to the back of the case. They're more likely to be back there, for the simple fact that it's going to make it a lot easier for the customer, versus the fact of having them directly behind here, because yeah, that's as far as I can get my hand back there. It's way too tight. So if I just take and run both of these lines to the back of the case and then have the quick disconnects back there, the customer can disconnect, take advantage of those quick disconnect it in the back, and then from the back, just pull it all out in one solid line, and then yeah. But I already have kind of a feeling that, I don't know, I could be wrong, but I have kind of a feeling that when it comes to the 5090, I have a feeling the customer is going to have me water block it for him, which is no problem at all. We'll get that all squared away for him. As for coming to install the GPU, or as for installing the GPU on the rig, I don't know how he's going to want to go by doing that yet. I mean, hell, if he wants to take and send me the rig so I can swap out the GPUs for him, well, again, get that taken care of for him. Ain't nothing I can't do. Whatever the customer wants, we'll get done. But yeah, just shy or almost 11 minutes into this. That's all. That's all I really wanted to show with this, because that's all that's really been done. I mean, although it does not look like there's been a lot of progression, there has been a ton of progression. There's if I were to unhide everything, you would see there's a lot going on with this build. But again, for the final time, just wanted to show everybody what's going on and give an update on it. So this would be build update number 4, I believe. The HOF Strix, or not Strix, Galax 4090 HOF. With that being said, hopefully everybody's having a good day, night, morning, evening, wherever it is, wherever you're at. I'm out. Bye.